So first, let's get started with what we did yesterday. A small meditation, hopefully, and tuning into our intuition and connecting to our higher selves. Like really kind of tuning into what our purpose is in this life. That was your homework for yesterday. I hope you did it. If you did do it, please let me know what came up for you during this homework so that I can give you a little bit of feedback on it. Did you manage to do it? Did you manage to connect to yourself? Did you manage to get any information from yourself? Because usually we know best, right? So when we tune into ourselves and ask a question, generally answers will come to us. So I just wanted to know your experience and if you managed to get some clarity on your life purpose and what you are supposed to be doing in this world. And this life purpose, by the way, is different for everybody. It is not the same for me as it is for you. We all have a different purpose. Okay, so let me know, give me some feedback on that so that I can read from your answers and what you experienced yesterday. If you're not familiar with awareness practices, this can be a little challenging. It usually takes a bit of time to calm down the mind and really tune into yourself. So let's see what happens. Now, before we go into our today's talk, which is fully about money mentality and creating abundance, I want to know in the people who attend this call, who is actually convinced already of their life purpose and who has also decided that they want to build a successful and profitable career out of their purpose and out of their passion, because we need to be clear on that first, right? If we don't want that, then, I mean, probably building a business is not for you. But if we do want that, then we at least need to be clear on that. So, okay, Grace is saying the thing that came up for me when I meditated on it was that I'm a helper and a healer. It's a bit broad, but these were the words that came. Okay, good. So that's already something. Broad doesn't matter. Being a helper and a healer can take many forms, indeed, but it's a start. It's a good start. So anyone else came up with something? Thirsty and recovered from my very quick one-day flu. Probably because I took like 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, so I want to know if you do know what your life purpose is, if you do know your direction or the direction that you want to go in. Are you convinced that this is something that you want to build a career out of, or is there a hesitation to charge for your passion and purpose? I want to know this as well. And then we will continue and get on to today's talk, okay, about money and creating abundance. You are here to share your joy for life and your energy and light. Well, that is a beautiful life purpose, isn't it? So joy for life. So personally, I think that, but I can only speak for myself. I think that life becomes a lot more joyful when you have the freedom to live life on your terms. And for me, that is very much related to financial abundance as well. Because if I do not have the financial abundance to make certain choices for myself, I mean, my choices will be limited without that abundance, I feel less joyful. This is the truth. I want to be able to travel regularly. I want to be able to eat my organic foods. I want to be able to invest in self-care and self-development. And those things make my life a whole lot more joyful. And I remember that when I started my career as a yoga instructor, I was not able to do any of these things because I simply wasn't able to make money. I always had to struggle for pennies, basically, and I was also mostly overexhausted. Most of the time, running around from class to class, from client to client, from here to there, and just, you know, utterly and completely exhausted all the time, giving all my energy to people and not having the financial means to take care of myself the way that I wanted to take care of myself. And I think this is something that a lot of people in the service industry come across. It's this lack of financial reward for what, yeah, I agree, for what we are doing. Somehow, people are willing to pay doctors, they're willing to pay lawyers, they're willing to pay for going nights out and partying or expensive dinners. But when it comes to yoga teachers or lifestyle entrepreneurs or people who are in the service industry, everything has to be as cheap as possible. And that's something that I encountered a lot in the beginning of my career. But what I didn't know was that it was very much related to how I felt about myself. So in the beginning, I encountered a lot of clients that always wanted to bargain me, that weren't willing to pay me what I wanted. And even though my price wasn't very high, it was like not a huge amount, especially when I was living in Portugal. I didn't have the prices that I have today. But people didn't want to pay it. And I always had to go into discussions and I could never get what I felt that I wanted. And one day I sat with a friend of mine who happened to be a life coach. And I remember we were in my tiny little house in Portugal and we were sitting having tea on the top floor of my house. And she said, Kaya, I don't think that you really believe that you deserve it. And I just started crying when she said that. Now, this is a long time ago. This is at least 10, 12 years ago. And I realized that I indeed had a very deep-rooted belief that I did not deserve to receive the money that I felt I was worth or that my services were worth. And then I started digging deeper into that belief system and looking at my upbringing and my childhood. And then I started remembering, okay, when I grew up, my father had a lot of money. I told you I came from an entrepreneurial family, so my father had his own business. And even though he had his own business, he did not want me to pursue my passion. He wanted me to go to, according to society standards and study. So I wasn't really encouraged, but at the same time, he had a lot of money. And it was visible, and it was always visible to me. But as kids, me and my brothers, we were never allowed to have any of it. So he was always holding back. He was buying nice things for himself. I remember, we used to have dinner with the whole family, and then the nice piece of cheese was for my father, and the shitty cheap ones were for us. And that's basically how I grew up. So a lot of wealth, but all the time I saw around me that I wasn't allowed to have that wealth. So no wonder that I created a belief around I don't deserve. And it was only in my 20s when I actually started my business that I figured out that I carried this belief in me and that was stopping me from making money. So when I speak about money mentality is the way that we feel about money, what we believe to be true about money, and whatever we believe to be true, and usually this is buried deep in our subconscious, tends to become our physical reality. So generally when we struggle to make money and when we struggle people to pay for our services, or when we have difficulty charging, this has something to do with our deeply ingrained subconscious belief about money and abundance, okay? So I'm sure that now that you've heard this story, you can either identify or you might be able to discover some of the stories that you have told yourself about money and financial wealth. A lot of people in the yoga industry or in the wellness industry tell themselves the story that yoga and helping people shouldn't be mixed with finances, or that it's not spiritual to charge money. Okay, so this is a very big one, and one that a lot of helpers and healers suffer from. And it's unfortunate because actually money is the most spiritual thing that we can manage to create. It's a completely 100% spiritual thing. It's an energy. And the more we tune into that energy and the more we are able to be at ease with it, the easier it becomes. And it has actually nothing to do with this physical world. And that's something that I also discovered over the years of study. It's all to do with our sense of self-worth, what we are comfortable with, and the value that we believe we bring to this world and to people, okay? So you might discover some other beliefs ingrained in you that were maybe given to you by society or by your upbringing. I don't know, maybe some of you grew up with grandmothers who, when they gave you some money, they hid it somewhere. Or you have noticed a lot of time when people pay you or when you pay people that they don't look you in the eye. Perhaps you have shame and guilt and fear around money. Perhaps you were taught that money doesn't grow on trees. Perhaps you were taught that there will never be enough and that you have to save up for the future. Like all these kind of beliefs, they make a really big difference in how we interact with money. And usually they are created in the first, like, let's say 7-10 years of our life, right? So I would like to ask you if you can identify any of the beliefs that you have about the topic of money. Like, how do you feel about money? How do you feel that money comes to you? Is it easy? Is there an endless source of money for you? Or do you feel like it always runs out very quickly and you're not able to manifest more and you have to save and sit on it and be very careful with what you spend, etc., etc.? So tell me some of the things that you have really embodied, like that are really part of your belief system, so that I can give you some feedback on it. So basically, just to recap, I've just told you that money has a lot to do, or our ability to make money has a lot to do with our belief system and what we believe to be true about money. We spoke about belief systems a lot in the first day of the training already. And in this session, we're speaking specifically about belief systems around the topic of money. So the more limiting beliefs we have around the topic of money, the more difficult it will be to generate it. Now, I don't know if you remember yesterday, but yesterday one of our students, Nidal, or one of our friends, said that she felt like she needed a steady monthly income, and without that she cannot feel safe or secure. And she felt that it only can come in one way, which is through this job, right? And a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that money can only come from a paycheck. And again, that's not true. It's just a belief system. It doesn't have to be true for you. It might be true for other people, but that's their choice. So we basically have a choice over our belief systems. Okay, I love this one. Money doesn't make happiness. The lie I've been told over and over and over, and I recently discovered how wrong it is. Money doesn't solve all life problems, but it solves many of them that are the main cause of misery. Yeah, I would really agree. Money doesn't make you happy. This means that, in the sense that money doesn't make us happy if we make it in a way where we are abandoning ourselves, or if we are doing things that are wrong for us. Yeah, then it doesn't give happiness. But it's also proven that when we make more money, our happiness levels increase drastically. And especially when we make up to 150,000 US dollars a year. So we make that 150,000 US dollars a year in income, and that really significantly improves our happiness levels. And I can tell you, I mean, I'll be dead honest with you, I'm 10,000 times more happy than I was when I was broke. 100% sure. I always managed when I was broke. That's not the point. I mean, I did a lot of things. I still managed to do a lot of things, but I definitely feel more comfortable now. And it does solve a lot of issues. It solves logistic issues. It solves where you want to live. It solves your food situation. It solves how you can take care of yourself. It's true. And, you know, it's also not bad to admit that having a better income will give you a higher sense of satisfaction. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of guilt, shame, and fear around that belief system. Like, oh, we're not supposed to want money. It's a bad thing if you want money. You know, sometimes I still feel guilty when I post something on my Instagram and I tell people about the fact that I made like 150 or 170,000 US dollars in sales or in profits this year. And sometimes I feel bad. because I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a yoga teacher and I shouldn't be sharing this. Maybe people will judge me. Like, it's a brief moment where I'm like, oh. And then I realized, no, this is the guilt, shame, and fear that was given to me by this whole bloody spiritual community where everyone keeps on saying that it shouldn't be about the money. But nobody has even the money to pay for their own pizza, right? When they go out for dinner. And it's just also kind of annoying because we are studying, we are working hard. We're in a profession. It's just as much a profession as it is to be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer or a dentist. So we should also be able to facilitate our own financial needs, right? Okay, Christina is saying, actually, most of the time I have had enough money and I always afforded what I wanted. Most of the time I have had enough money, always afforded what I wanted, never ran out of money. I also keep an eye that I don't run out of money. This means that you are frantically holding on to it, that you're saving too much. I don't know what it means. Give me a little bit more explanation. So what I want to know from everyone who is on this call, you're all pursuing some sort of passion or dream, or maybe not yet, but you will because you want to. Now, do you also want to be financially rewarded by working in that passion or dream? So basically, do you want to build something profitable, a profitable career that is founded on purpose and passion? That's what I want to know. Or would you prefer not to mix money and your passion? Can be. It's a choice also, right? And then another question that I think is very important to ask is, how much do you want to make? And this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I usually do this in my in-person courses, and also in my online business course, I actually have a whole module on this. Like, what's your magic number? What's the number that will give you happiness and satisfaction? Well, how much do you want to make every month? Very important to establish that, because in the first day we also spoke about intention. We need to know what we want to aim at. And if we don't know that, it becomes very difficult to create goals or to go after something, because we're simply vague. And when we're vague, the universe can't really provide us with our aim. So one of the things that I've learned about money is that it's very, very important to set an energetic minimum. This means that I will not be okay with making less than $15,000 every month. Okay, so that's my energetic minimum. When I first started, it was $5,000. I was okay with that. But there is a minimum that I want to make every month, and I will not go below it, and I will not accept being below it, and I'm not okay with being below it. So you have to decide this for yourself. How much is this? This year for me, 15K every month. Next year, 2021, 25K every month. I know already, I have a plan, like I have it all drawn out. I want it to be like this, and this. Okay? And I don't feel guilty about that number either. I think it's a really amazing, realistic number. I think I deserve it. I think it will make my life even easier. I think I can do much better things with it for my community, the people around me. I'm sure that I'll be able to influence more people, to invest more in my business, etc., etc. Okay? I'd love to make my passion one of my income streams. Okay, so you want to make it one of your income streams, and then we still need to know how much we want to make with it. So if it's going to be one of your income streams, fine, but decide on a number. This is my advice. 10,000 euros per month will make me comfortable not to worry about routine expenses. Exactly. So this number is different for everyone, right? I know that when I live in Istanbul, because I go there sometimes, if I have $3,000, I will be living like a queen. No, an empress, I should say. If I'm in Dubai, I'm going to need minimum of 10,000 to live on, but I also want to save 5,000 every month. So you know what I mean? Now, I study with an amazing money teacher. I've studied in the past with an amazing money teacher. And this girl simply makes about $2 million a year, okay, selling online courses. So sky's the limit. That's what I'm saying. It's not only, oh, I want to have enough to cover my expenses. No. you can become comfortable with more as well, but that usually takes a bit of time. So let's keep that for now. Yes, Grace is saying, yes, I would love to make money and support myself by following my passion. I know I have more of a scarcity mindset when it comes to money, meaning money doesn't grow on trees. Yes. So this scarcity mindset generally comes out in a lot of ways. Okay. So just a couple of examples, to maybe you will identify with this. You're always looking for the cheapest options. I'm not saying you, Grace, but in general, you're always looking for the cheapest options. When you take a flight, you will book the cheapest tickets. That's so bloody uncomfortable that you really end up in your location completely hammered, but it was cheap. When you go to the supermarket, you look for the cheapest products. When you go for dinner, you with your friends, you take the bill and you calculate every single thing that you spent. And that kind of energy is kind of like the scarcity mindset, right? Now, what does that say? It tells ourselves, our subconscious, but it also tells the universe that probably there isn't enough for you. So yes, 100%, yeah, I know. And I don't know if you live in Europe. I'm from Europe myself. I'm from Netherlands. I was born and raised in the Netherlands. And Europe has a massive scarcity mentality, okay? And it's also not so strange because in Europe we are taxed very highly and we don't make much money. It's just like our incomes in Europe are not very high. It's actually like pretty crazy, you know? You make a few thousand and then you pay like God knows how much tax on it. So no wonder people in Europe have more of a scarcity mentality than we, for instance, have in Dubai. Because in Dubai, you make it, you don't pay tax. I mean, you work hard for sure, but it's more of an abundance kind of energy around you. And everyone also has some money and we don't have to nitpick about, 2 euros here, 2 euros there. It's different. And oh, you're in New York. Yeah, high taxes as well. Okay. Right. So yeah, I think that tax system does have a really have a big effect on on our money psychology. I think for me, it's shifted a lot when I moved to the UAE because it's tax-free. And, you feel like you actually have some money to spend and it's good. And once you start feeling that you actually have money to spend, more money will come. So, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're making 6 or 7 figures and you're feeling so comfortable with it that you can only grow. So it's an energy thing. I really believe that. And not having to nitpick over $40 or $30 or $2 or whatever the amount is just such a blessing. It's such a blessing and it makes life a whole lot easier, really. And I think also this generosity that we can have, the fact that, when you have that money, you can actually really do things for people without having to necessarily charge them. You can give away things for free. And this is something that I always find very enjoyable because I feel so abundant in everything that comes to me that I feel like I have a lot of space to just be available and to hold space for people. And that's something that I find a beautiful thing. And I didn't have that when I was running around for peanuts. Get my point? So having more money actually allows you to give more and serve more. And when we look at it like that, it actually becomes an amazing thing. Now, again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with setting high limits for yourself or high goals. I also don't think that there's anything wrong with having an eye for beautiful things or loving certain things, wanting to buy certain things. It's not a bad thing. You don't have to feel guilty about it. It just depends on who you are and what you want, okay? And you have to decide that for yourself. Now, another really big limiting belief related to what I just said is that rich people are not nice people. Yeah, a lot of us believe that too. Rich people are selfish. It's not necessary to be rich. La 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 la. That whole stream of thoughts. Okay. So identify that with yourself as well, because it's not necessarily true. I know a lot of like really wealthy people that are actually really, really nice and that are building orphanages all over the world and schools in order to support humanity. Okay. So again, doesn't have to be true. So how can we overcome scarcity mindset? How can we stop living in this energy of lack all the time? Can you give me some ideas? For me, overcoming scarcity mindset has always been about, okay, I don't have any money right now because when I first moved to Dubai, I told you I didn't have anything. But I mean, I'm going to use my credit cards and I'm going to sit on this terrace and order this really nice cafe latte and feel like I am okay. I'm okay. I can do this for myself. And I remember when I did this, my friend was like, yeah, but Kaya, you just arrived and you're not making anything. What are you doing going outside? You should be eating beans from a can. And I was like, no. I'm sorry, but no. Abundance is mine. There's an endless resource, an endless influx of financial abundance that's always coming into my life. I definitely don't have to think about whether I can go and have a coffee or not. And at that time, because I wasn't making much and I just made a huge life move, so just remember that there are certain times in your life where you might have less money. Now, this happened to me as well. I made a huge move. I left Portugal with nothing. I came to Dubai with nothing. So of course I didn't have anything, and that's okay. But I didn't allow myself to shift into that energy of lack. Like now that I make a really good income, my abundance energy is different. So it's like, oh, you want this? Okay, you buy it. You want that? You want to go on this trip? You want to go on this yoga retreat? You want to, whatever it is that I want to do. You want to invest in this business coach? Do it because you deserve it. So now it's obviously grown into bigger things, right? Rather than a cup of coffee, it's now about my whole life and what makes me comfortable. So no more cheap plane tickets for me. Like that's one of the things I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, sitting in these cheap airlines. And no, I don't want it because it's not making me comfortable. I deserve to fly in comfort. Okay. That was a big one for me. Anyway, sounds superficial, but it makes life more comfortable and easier. Okay. Christina is saying, I'm in Germany and currently have a safe job where I earn good money, so I never have to worry. And to be honest, that makes it difficult to give up for my own business because I don't want to change my life standard, which is why I want to slowly build my own business next to my current job. Does this make sense? Yeah, I think that's a really valid point, actually, to be honest. And if you don't hate your current job, if you don't feel like it sucks the life out of you, then why would you stop? Like if it makes you a good amount of money, no need, right? So I think that's a very sensible choice. And I think that if you build your business from scratch, without a financial backup, sometimes this can be extremely stressful. And this is something that I've been through, right? So I've built that business from scratch without financial backup. And it was a stressful couple of years, stressful as hell, I have to say. And in the end, it did work out. But if you can have some sort of preparation or backup, then that's great. However, I think if you hate it, if you really hate it, I think you need to leave, because we talked about this yesterday. We don't want to do things that are damaging our soul and our belief system of what we are worth and what we came to do, right? Okay, Claudia is saying, sorry, I'm late. It's okay, you can watch the replay. I hope everyone is watching the replay in case you can't attend, right? Because lots of people are watching the replay because they cannot make it, even though I've tried to make the easiest time. Okay, for me, the purpose is helping people to grow and to treat themselves, but there's so many coaches, difficult to find the niche. Yeah, difficult to find a niche. Depends on what you're doing. Yes, there are many coaches, but then there's also many yoga teachers and many fashion designers and many people doing all sorts of stuff. So just keep in mind that there's always people who will benefit from what you are teaching and what you are doing. And if you are really convinced of what you're bringing out into the world, and if you stay very true to, your value system and your purpose, then I believe that your clients will always find you if you take the right actions to put yourself out there. So in my online course, I speak a lot about values because I believe that this is the foundation of you and of your business. And I also believe that a lot of these startups fail because they are not clear on their value system. I recently had one of my students launch her own brand. She launched an online dance studio, an amazing concept. I will send you the link. So basically, she took my online course and I coached her to launch the business. And she said that because she first did a part of it alone, she said that, oh my God, only after I, started with you, I realized how many steps I had skipped. And I lost money because of it. I made mistakes. I had to fire people. I got screwed over, blah, blah, blah. But it's because I wasn't clear on my value system and on what I was bringing out into the world. So it's really important to do that foundational work before you start. And I believe it's probably the most important part. I've always been much more about doing the inner work, and from there going outwards into the world rather than the other way around. So I believe that starting a business starts with us, with our belief systems, with our value system, with our passion, with our purpose, with our knowing, with our why. And then only after that comes all the other stuff, which is finances, business planning, unique selling point, niche markets, how to train teams, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So there's something that comes before that, and that's what I feel very passionate about, to teach people that inner work is so important, right? Okay. So Christina is saying, I don't hate my job that much. I have the loveliest boss, but he will retire in a couple of years, and by then I want to be ready with my business. Okay, good. Yeah, build something on the side. Good idea. One of my friends, she's working she had a really good job and a job that she loved. And then all of a sudden the company kind of like went bankrupt, or kind of ended during the COVID situation. And then she now has to start her own thing. So sometimes we can also all of a sudden be confronted with changes that we didn't anticipate. And then it's always good to have different income streams. So I have various income streams. I have my yoga school, which is my main source of income, okay? Then I have my business platform, which is secondary source of income. So I have an online business course that I open several times a year, and I make money with helping people and coaching them in business. Then my third source of income is my clothing brand. And then my fourth source of income is a rental property that I got for myself. First thing I did when I started making money is buy a property. And unfortunately, I'm not making anything on it right now because they closed down all the borders. It's a property in Thailand, in Phuket. So no rental income for me, but it doesn't matter because I have these other income streams. And then fifth one is investments. Okay, so I also have some investments. So basically I have 5 things, and if 1 or 2 of them fall away, I still have the other things. So this means that this is what financial freedom truly means, right? It means that if you lose your job, or if you stop doing what you're doing tomorrow, your income streams won't stop and you will still feel secure. And I don't think financial freedom means that you have millions of dollars in the bank. I think financial freedom means that you can work if you want to, and if you don't want to work, you will still make money. And that's something that I always found to be very important. Financial freedom for me is a big one, because I don't think that the rat race is my purpose. I think there's another purpose for me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't work. I work harder than most people I know, because I actually really love to work. And the more I achieve and accomplish, the more I want to do. And the more I see transformations in people, and I see how much people are benefiting, the more I want to give, right? It's a turn on, just to say it like that. It's an absolute amazing feeling that you can make a difference in the lives of people, and that you can help them achieve their dreams. And I'm sure that if you are wanting to be a healer or a helper or a coach or a support, that's where your greatest level of satisfaction will come from. That's what's going to make everything right. Everything. The early mornings, the late hours, the sacrifice, the hard work and efforts. That's what it's all about. Seeing change and transformation in people. So yeah, it's worth it, right? It's really worth it. I always think to myself, if I would die tomorrow, I would be totally 100% content because I know that I've been able to make a difference. And I really mean that. Like I just do things because I want to do them but I already feel like I accomplished many of my life goals. So, and I'm young, I'm only 36, but that's a very good feeling to have. And I wish for everyone to feel that way. It's a beautiful feeling. Anyway, more things about money. Let's do some questions. Questions and answers. Questions and answers. We have like 10 minutes for Q&A. Bring them on. Questions. It's a bit delayed sometimes. Sometimes I only get things a little bit later. Yep. Any questions about money, mentality, mindset, attracting abundance into your life? How can I change certain things? How can I make more money? How can I charge what I'm worth? How do I know what I'm worth? See, those are lots of questions that you could ask. I would never do anything that I don't believe in for money. So I'm very true to my own value system. And it happens a lot, by the way, that I got offered certain things, certain jobs, certain promotional things. Here in the UAE, I once got offered a big contract for Nestle as a nutritionist. I used to also work as a nutritionist. And they wanted me to say something like, yeah, there's less sugar in Nestle cereal than there is in a banana. Don't tell anyone because I'm sure I'm not allowed to tell this. And I was like, no way I'm going to say this. No, screw you. I'm not saying that. That's not true. It's not accurate. I'm not selling this to people. And they were going to pay me a lot. And this happened several times with different companies. So I don't abandon my own value system for money. And that also makes me a very happy person. I look in the mirror and I think, you know what? I can really count on those values that I've created for myself. And values are important. And I talk a lot about that in my online course as well. Okay, how do you manage to remain consistent with making money, regardless of external factors? I believe that external factors are not going to cause my income to drop. That's what I believe. So I believe that every year my profits grow, which has happened since the day that I started, which is 5 years ago, 6 years ago with my school. Every year I've grown incrementally. And I believe that every year I will continue to grow. And I don't believe that external factors will have that effect on me. I feel like I have a minimum. So that's what I'm saying. I'm establishing my energetic minimum. And I really work towards it. And I consistently take action. So it means obviously that I do stuff. Like when COVID happened and I had to close my school, I spent 6 weeks locked in my house creating my online teacher training curriculum. So I made 100 hours therapeutic training for extension for people who already took a 200-hour. I made a 200-hour training. I made a 300-hour training. I just filmed, like I was just 6 weeks filming day in, day out. I was like, okay, I'm going to then just put my school online. And, you know, funny thing is, I made more. I made more because of that. So there was no dip because of COVID. So that's what I'm saying. I don't believe that the external factors, the economy, people, it's not going to affect me. And I also actually meditate on that every day. And I ask for money every day, guys. Like I sit in my meditations every day and I say, can I have some money, please? And every day, and I don't know if you saw my Instagram story today, but every day there is some sort of purchase on my website, one of my courses, one of my online courses, one of my in-person courses. There is hardly ever a day that I don't make money. which is good. You mentioned that you attended some courses about money mindset. Can you please share some that had the most effect on you? So, okay, so first of all, I worked with a life coach who was a friend of mine who helped me discover a lot about money mentality. And then a couple of years ago, I did a course, which is something about, what was the name again? The energy of abundance or something like that. I would have to look it up. It was from the Shift Network. It was great. I loved it. And I love Amanda Francis. She's like one of my greatest inspirations. This girl that makes like several millions a year. I love her energy. So I also just go on YouTube a lot. I study a lot on the law of attraction. And one of the things that has really helped me to shift I think my biggest shift has come when I stopped being afraid to invest in myself. So like I said, during the COVID epidemic, I invested a very large sum of money into my business and into some coaching that I wanted to do. And when I did that, I just overcame so many obstacles. Like I started making so much more. And they generally say, and this is a bit of a rule of thumb, that when you invest a certain amount in your self-development, that you will make that money back like 10 times over in the year after. So that's something that I really believe. Like I believe that investing in myself is going to increase my profits and my financial wealth over and over and over again. And I can never run out. And the economical climate is not going to be, is not going to affect how much money I can make. And I also think that it's very easy to hide behind that excuse. Oh yeah, but because people do this to themselves all the time. Oh yeah, but she lives in Dubai, so it's easy. No. People in Dubai are cheaper than anywhere in the world. I don't know why that is, but they really like sit on their money a lot. Or yeah, but you know, she might be lucky. You know what, guys? I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. I left my home when I was 17. I was on the streets, and this is not one of those rags to riches story. It's the truth. I haven't had a lucky life. I had money when I was growing up, but like I said, I never got any of it. Like I saw my dad being quite rich, but I never got really any of it. And everything I did it on my own, and everything I built it myself. There has been no luck in this story. It's just hard work, effort, and the real desire to change my experience on this planet from a very limited worldview to a view of expansion and being able to receive more and do more and become more. So that's what I believe creates my current reality, and that continuous dedication to keep doing that, you know, on all levels. So that's what I believe. Okay, any more questions, guys? Because tonight, after this, I have another call. Usually we do 45 minutes to an hour, so I want to give a little bit more time for questions. And by the way, I have like a new YouTube channel. I share videos every week on there, free, obviously, not there's no charge, on business, money mentality, money mindset, etc., etc. I'll post it on the group tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. I hope I'm able to inspire as many people as I can. And remember that you deserve the best. You deserve it. Everybody deserves it. It's not even a question of deserving. Now I'm gonna like everyone's comments. And then if there's no more questions, please send through your questions. I'm gonna have to soon run. And then tomorrow, I agree with Grace. Okay, thank you, Christina. Thanks so much. And then tomorrow, we are going to do leading with value and building your tribe. So how can we lead with value, and how can we actually build a tribe of people that believe in our work and our services? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Now, just FYI that this training is free, right? And in fact, sometimes I believe, and I've done a lot of research on this, that when we get things for free, we sometimes don't see the value as much, which is weird. But just remember that if you really attend and if you really listen to everything I'm telling you and engage and do the homework, oh, I forgot the homework for tomorrow. This training will give you a lot of value, even though it's free. Just wanted to tell you that. Day 3, la la la. Okay, yes, I want you to write down for tomorrow, if you have the time, 3 to 5 limiting beliefs that you have around money and business and confidence. So basically all the topics that we talked about so far. Write down some of your limiting beliefs so that we can discuss them tomorrow. Really, like, take some time to tune into it, to sit on it, to see what comes up, okay? And that's what we'll do tomorrow.